is happening right now in the Indo-Pacific is a new arms race like the world hasn't seen in decades. This vast region, home to billions of people, is rapidly becoming a hotspot for missile development and military buildup, where the biggest players like China, the United States, India, Japan, and others are racing to gain the upper hand. But why now? Why here? And what does it mean for global security? All these nations see the Indo-Pacific as key to their future economic and military power. Missiles have become the weapon of choice because they can strike targets thousands of miles away with precision and speed, making traditional defenses less effective. China has invested heavily in missile technology for years, developing systems that can threaten U.S. aircraft carriers far out at sea. These carriers have been the backbone of American naval power, giving the U.S. dominance over the Pacific. But now, that dominance is being challenged, making naval operations riskier and forcing the U.S. to rethink its strategies. The United States is responding by developing hypersonic weapons that travel faster than any missile before. They're also upgrading missile defenses and strengthening alliances with countries like Japan, Australia, and India to form a strong front against China's growing influence. India isn't standing still either. It's expanding its missile arsenal and naval capabilities to protect its interests, especially given its ongoing border disputes with China and control over parts of the Indian Ocean. Its BrahMos missile system is now considered one of the most advanced in Asia. Japan and South Korea are also investing heavily in modernizing their militaries. They are closest to potential conflict zones and depend on regional stability for their booming economies. Both countries see missile defense as crucial to deter threats and protect their territories. But this arms race carries huge risks. More missiles mean a greater chance of accidental or intentional conflict, which could quickly escalate into a full-scale war with worldwide consequences. The stakes are incredibly high. Long-standing political and historical tensions add fuel to the fire. China has territorial disputes with several neighbors, over islands, and sea boundaries. Meanwhile, the U.S. and its allies aim to maintain influence and prevent China from becoming the dominant regional power. The region's economy depends on peace as well. Key trade routes cross the South China Sea, linking the world's biggest economies. Any military conflict could disrupt these supply chains, damaging economies globally. So, what's really at stake here is not just military strength, but political power, economic dominance, and control over strategic territories and resources. China's missile program focuses not only on quantity, but on quality too. They have developed advanced ballistic and cruise missiles capable of striking land targets, ships, and aircraft with high accuracy. Their missiles cover ranges from short to intercontinental. Their anti-ship ballistic missiles are designed to counter U.S. naval power, making large warships vulnerable in contested waters. The DF-1D missile, sometimes called the carrier killer, is specifically built to target aircraft carriers at long range. China's missile development has accelerated over the past decade, driven by its desire to assert claims over the South China Sea and deter foreign naval forces near its shores. The United States, meanwhile, is investing heavily in new technologies like hypersonic glide vehicles. These can maneuver mid-flight, making them harder to track and intercept. This could change the balance of power, but also increases risks as defense systems struggle to keep up. Allies in the region are stepping up as well. Australia is buying long-range missile systems and expanding its naval forces. Japan is enhancing its missile defenses, including deploying Aegis Ashore systems to intercept incoming threats. India focuses on strengthening missile capabilities and securing sea lanes through which much of its trade flows. With China nearby, this is vital for India's national security and regional influence. South Korea faces its own challenges given its proximity to North Korea and regional tensions. It invests in missile technology to improve deterrence and defense while balancing complex diplomatic relations. The Indo-Pacific arms race isn't just about military might. It reflects deep strategic competition over the future order of the region, involving economic power, trade routes, technology leadership, and alliances. As tensions rise, diplomatic efforts continue, but progress is slow. Mistrust and competing interests make agreements difficult to reach, leaving the risk of miscalculation or conflict ever present. Many nations in the region are trying to boost economic cooperation and dialogue to reduce tensions and build trust. However, these initiatives often face setbacks due to broader geopolitical rivalries. Looking ahead, the arms race is likely to intensify. New weapons and technologies will emerge, changing the strategic landscape even further. The Indo-Pacific will remain a critical area to watch for global security analysts, policymakers, and anyone concerned with peace and stability in the 21st century. In summary, the Indo-Pacific arms race is about more than just missiles and military power. It's a complex contest involving economic interests, political influence, and regional security, with potential consequences far beyond the immediate region. Understanding the dynamics here is important because the choices made today will shape the future of global order and peace for decades to come. Now, let's look at what this means for ordinary people and businesses across the world. The Indo-Pacific region is home to some of the world's busiest ports and shipping lanes, through which billions of dollars in goods travel every day. Disruptions caused by conflict or military tensions could impact everything from oil prices to the availability of electronics and food supplies. The military buildup in the Indo-Pacific is driving rapid advancements in technology. Countries are investing in next-generation missiles, drones, and cyber capabilities, all aimed at gaining an edge. Hypersonic missiles, for example, travel at speeds exceeding 5 times the speed of sound, making them extremely difficult to detect and intercept. This new technology is not only changing warfare, but also complicating diplomatic relations. The speed and unpredictability of hypersonic weapons increase the risk of misunderstandings and accidental conflict. Countries must develop new defense strategies to cope with these threats. At the same time, artificial intelligence and automation are being integrated into military systems. AI can improve targeting accuracy, decision-making speed, and battlefield awareness, but it also raises ethical questions about autonomous weapons and the potential loss of human control. The United States is expanding its network of military bases and partnerships throughout the region to strengthen its presence. It is also conducting joint exercises with allies to improve interoperability and readiness. These moves are seen as a message to deter aggression and reassure partners. China, on the other hand, is focusing on building its own regional alliances and increasing its influence through economic initiatives like the Belt and Road. It is also investing heavily in missile defense systems to protect its growing military assets. India's role is becoming more prominent as it seeks to balance China's rise. It is developing not just missiles, but also naval assets like aircraft carriers and submarines to secure its maritime interests. Smaller countries in the region, such as Vietnam, the Philippines, and Indonesia, are also upgrading their military capabilities. While they may not have the same resources as larger powers, they are modernizing to protect their sovereignty and economic interests. The complex web of alliances, rivalries, and economic ties makes the Indo-Pacific a highly dynamic and unpredictable region. Any misstep could trigger a wider conflict, making diplomacy crucial. Efforts to establish arms control agreements and confidence-building measures have so far met limited success. Differing national interests and mutual suspicion hinder progress. Civil society and international organizations are calling for increased dialogue and transparency to reduce tensions and avoid conflict. The economic implications are enormous. The Indo-Pacific is home to some of the fastest-growing economies in the world. Stability is essential for continued growth and prosperity. Businesses globally watch the region closely. Disruptions could affect global supply chains, impacting industries from technology to agriculture. In summary, the Indo-Pacific arms race is reshaping the future of international security. The stakes are high, and the outcome will have global consequences. The strategic competition in the Indo-Pacific is shaping global alliances in new ways. Countries like Australia and Japan are deepening their partnerships with the United States, while also exploring closer ties with India and Southeast Asian nations. This network of alliances is intended to provide a united front in the face of rising tensions. At the same time, China is pushing its own vision of regional order. Through economic initiatives and military modernization, it seeks to assert influence and challenge the existing balance of power. Its growing naval capabilities allow it to project force far beyond its shores. Technology is at the center of this competition. Beyond missiles, nations are developing cyber warfare capabilities, space-based systems, and advanced surveillance tools. Control of information and communication networks could prove as decisive as traditional military strength. The rapid pace of weapons development increases the risk of accidents or miscalculations. Early warning systems and communication channels are essential to prevent unintended escalation. However, trust remains limited among the major players. Many experts warn that without effective diplomacy and arms control, the region risks sliding into a costly and dangerous conflict. Dialogue platforms, though imperfect, offer hope for managing tensions. Economic interdependence among these countries adds complexity. While military competition intensifies, trade and investment continue to grow, creating a delicate balance between rivalry and cooperation. The Indo-Pacific stability is vital not just regionally, but globally. Its sea lanes carry a significant portion of the world's commerce, making peace essential for the global economy. Looking ahead, the arms race will likely incorporate emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and autonomous systems more deeply. This will further change the nature of warfare and security challenges. Policymakers will need to navigate this evolving landscape carefully, balancing deterrence with diplomacy and innovation with caution. For the people living in the region, the stakes are deeply personal. Security concerns affect everyday life, economic opportunities, and the futures of millions. In conclusion, the Indo-Pacific arms race represents one of the most critical geopolitical challenges of our time. How it unfolds will influence the global balance of power, economic prosperity, and peace for years to come. As the world watches closely, the choices made today will shape the future of global security and stability. Thank you for watching, stay informed, and see you next time.